Hi guys! New season of Survivor has started and I'm sure you are as excited as I am about it. I just finished watching the 2-hour premiere of Brawn versus Brains versus Beauty and I have lots to say, but first of all I'd like to say either welcome to my channel if this is the first time you're watching my videos, or really awesome to see you guys again and I cannot wait to hear what you guys thought about this episode. So let's get started. The concept of this new season, Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty, or Brawn versus Brains versus Beauty, whichever order you want to put it in. What do you think about it? I was asked this earlier today, and I have to say I love it. I think it's kind of a core Survivor idea, bringing together the main assets you need to win the game. It's kind of like Brain versus Brawn versus Beauty, and then outwit, outplay, outlast. So it's kind of a cool theme. However, as we saw at the very beginning of this episode, I think that once you tell people that those are the tribes that they're in, that it kind of encourages a certain behavior. So like you could see Alexis's smile when she was told that she was in the Beauty tribe, and she's like, yeah, okay. And then the Brains tribe, like the minute you tell them they're in the Brains tribe, they're like, okay, well I'm the smartest person in the room, and like it just, like, I don't know how they put these tribes together, but I'll get to that later. Let's talk about the first twist. So the first twist was Jeff asking each tribe to pick a leader. Now, if you know anything about Survivor, you know that being a leader is the last thing you want to be in a tribe. And I kind of get that, like, each one sort of went with it when they were picked. You know, you kind of don't want to fight it either. So, you know, I get how that played out. But then picking the weakest one, I think that was handled fine on the Beauty tribe and on the Brawn tribe. Like, they did kind of play it out like, oh, this sucks, but I guess if I have to, you know, they could have done a little more damage control. I guess you never know if that person's going to be voted out immediately. I hate it when Survivor does that and votes someone out immediately, so I'm glad that wasn't the case. But then David over in the Brains tribe goes out and, like, not even, like, with any remorse, points out Garrett, who's obviously the strongest person there, and then says he does that because he's looking, like, down the line to 39 days. I mean, that's, like, the most stupid move you could have done in that position, because you have to take into account the possibility that that person, can't speak, the possibility that that person might not be voted out, and you're alienating someone as well as sort of laying out your strategy for everyone to know. So that was a really dumb move on David's part. Then, as we saw, once Morgan, Trish, and Garrett made it to their tribes first after being picked as the weakest, they were faced with a choice to either look for the immunity idol or to get a second bag of rice. So Garrett, first off, says, no, I'm going to look for the idol. Now, I get that it's a hard choice, but I think it depends on how you were voted out, so I sort of understand why Garrett sort of went for the idol. He was like, well, you know, I need to defend myself against this David person, but I didn't like his attitude about it. It seemed kind of dumb, and then when he came back and he was like, yeah, I, like, got us water and, like, whatever, like, that was obviously not, you know, a choice he had to face, but clearly no one else in the Brain tribe even questioned that. Trish, I was surprised, because when she introduced herself at the beginning of the episode, said, you know, how competitive she was and how, you know, very selfish she could be. But I think she made the right choice, and I think that for that tribe, like the people that came back and saw that she'd done that, I think she, like, made the best move to sort of reintegrate herself in the tribe, which is key at the beginning of Survivor, is to integrate yourself. So I think she made the right choice. And then Morgan went for the idol but took forever to find it. I thought she was screwed too, but somehow came up with this stroke of genius to say, you know, to sort of play it out as though she got all this other stuff in the tribe, and did a decent job at pulling that off. And then LJ was equally smart and sort of seeing through that and not quite trusting her. So I was pretty impressed with the Beauty tribe thus far in the episode. In addition to that, they, like, really killed it in building a shelter closer, they got fire, they seemed like they were having fun at the same time. So I was surprised in a good way. Although, anyone should know that they get at least a bag of rice off the bat on a tribe. So getting one bag of rice as your decision maker is, that's a red light for me. But, there are a lot of things to think about on your first day. So, the Brains tribe, I think they were like kind of set up like that. Like, I don't know how they picked this tribe, and maybe it was just like book smart or something, but that doesn't mean you know how to play the game. But they were definitely so far the least impressive. Jatia being like, oh, I'm a nuclear engineer, I know how to build a shelter, and then bossing everyone around and then playing that down as like I was trying to motivate people. That was just like so painful to watch. And then I guess it was good of all of them to sort of let her do her thing, because you would think, okay, then no one wants her to stick around, la la la, but that's not how it went down. So, the Brawn tribe, Cliff being a basketball player kind of was a non-event, but clearly, I think he handled it well. I don't know if he handled it well or if he just, like, handled it, but when he realized that people knew who he was, he didn't lie about it. Unlike Tony, who flat out lied to Sarah, who kind of trusted her instinct but then wasn't sure. And then, that was kind of weird, especially because we see in the preview that then Tony admits to being a cop, which is what they were talking about, if you've seen the episode. So I thought that was a little weird, but still like the Brawn tribe so far in the episode. Then we get to the first challenge. Great challenge, by the way, really well-rounded, total Survivor style. Jeff, super hard on the Brains tribe. Like, again, sets them up to fail almost in a way. And I don't think by any means that this was the worst performance for a first challenge by a tribe. Like, we've seen equally bad at least. So I thought that was a little harsh in that sense. Now, the Brains tribe does lose, and so we find ourselves in the first scramble tribal part of the game. So David and Cass are obviously aligned. David, still complete idiot to think so far ahead and just like really wants to vote Garrett out. So I was glad Cass was like, no, we're not voting Garrett out. We need to win. We're voting Jatia out. But then Cass goes on to tell Jatia that she's voting her out. Like, stupid move. You don't do that, because then people scramble and things can flip against you, and you sort of like that. It's just not a good move. Like Jeff said towards the end of the episode, there's a reason there are blind sides, because you don't want to open up the opportunity for someone to scramble because they have nothing to lose. So I thought that was a really bad move on Cass's part. But then again, Jatia didn't even scramble. She just sat there and waited for Tasha and Garrett to sort of scramble on her behalf. And Garrett actually got out of it pretty well, because he removed his biggest threat by getting everyone to vote against David. David, who was super annoying, and even though it was a surprising result to the first tribal council, I'm kind of glad he was out. Now we go to our second hour of the episode, and we're sort of getting to know the tribes a little better. So over on the Brawn tribe, everybody loves Cliff, but Tony isn't buying it. He's clearly in it to play, and I like that. I'm still undecided on how I feel about Tony, but I do like that he's in it to win it, and he's playing hard. We see some kind of weird interaction between Trish and Lindsey, but I don't really have much of an opinion on that. I kind of like Lindsey, but we haven't really seen much of her in terms of like Survivor game yet, so I'll tell you more when I see more. Over on the Beauty tribe, Bryce was clearly the most strategic in that scene. I still have high hopes for LJ. Clearly Jeremiah and Morgan were not being helpful, and I don't think they'll be very helpful to Bryce's strategic moves, at least at this point. And Alexis and Jeffra, like, TBD. They're kind of just like there right now. Not like too impressed yet, but who knows what they can whip out. Now we have the second challenge. Another cool challenge from the Survivor folks. Terrible performance by Jatia on the puzzle. I mean, it's like, what, she wasn't even trying. I don't even know what she was doing. I know you can let yourself succumb under pressure, but she just did a really awful job. I really have to say that after that challenge, like, Sarah stands out to me. I really liked Sarah and the way she handled, like, even her cuts. She was just like, no bullshit, just really, like, getting the pieces together. So I was pretty impressed with her. Now, so the Brains tribe loses again, and we are back at their camp, and all of a sudden Garrett decides to initiate this open forum discussion. Again, bad move. He tries to make Cass speak first, which obviously she does, and it's her second time just being too open about it and pointing fingers at Jatia. So kind of unimpressed by that on Cass's side, even though I want to like her at the same time. I feel like she's got a good head on her shoulders, but not strategic enough. You know, you can be honest and more strategic than that. Garrett, we've clearly seen, like, go on a downward spiral, let himself be affected by the elements and the rain and the lack of food. And he's just, like, clearly not in it. And again, he initiates this idea of the open forum. Spencer knows it's a stupid idea, but I think cleverly goes along with it. But Tasha doesn't. Tasha's like, no, I want to play the game. I think we should all talk. And I love that about her. I love that she did that. She got a little too angry towards the end of that rant, but I love that she wants to play the game. Then they move away. Cass and Tasha talk, and it seems like they're going to make a good strategic move. And then Garrett and Spencer come over, like, munching their food. And what does Jatia do? She pulls a Brandon and pours the rice into the fire. I mean, Cass is right when she says you can't trust someone who does that. That's like, I don't even know what comes next. Like, does Survivor give them more rice? Like, they need food, but that would be against the rules of Survivor. So I don't know. What do you guys think? How are they going to survive without any rice and just, like, coconuts and whatever vegetables they find? So that sucked. I think once we get to Tribal, Tasha and Spencer sort of come out on top for me in that Brains tribe. Cass, again, I want to trust her, but she still, like, makes some moves that I don't really agree with. And it all turned into, like, a tribal shit show with Garrett just kind of, like, losing his marbles completely. Even, you know, Jeff's loving it, and Spencer's very aware of what's going on, and Cass answers pretty well. I mean, Garrett literally just, like, dig himself into this hole and didn't even see it. Like, I just really unimpressed. But it was the best move for Cass to very obviously, like, her move to vote Garrett out at that moment was an obvious nod to Tasha, saying, no, you're not at the bottom. We are aligning. I want to align with you. And I think that's a good plan for her. And in fact, I think the half of that Brains tribe is completely, like, terrible. I think Tasha is the best part of that tribe. Spencer, we'll see, even though I don't really love him from the pregame interviews. And Cass, like I said, like, love-hate in certain ways. Although even love and hate are extremes. I guess I just feel meh about Cass. So, I don't know, really, like, the Brains tribe is just an awful tribe. Like, I don't know if that's what they intended with casting, but it was just a terrible, terrible end result. So by the end of this, if I had to pick my favorites, I would say Tasha is definitely my favorite from the Brains tribe. Sarah's my favorite from the Brawn tribe. And LJ, though we haven't seen much of him, is my favorite from the Beauty tribe. I also liked Bryce's strategic plays, but, you know, I wouldn't call him my favorite. I just think he stands out. I don't like any of the others in the Beauty tribe, basically. And I would say I like the Brawn tribe the best because I like Tony's will to win. And I really like Wu, even though we haven't seen him much at all. So I'll reserve more judgment on that, but he gives me a good feeling, as does Lindsey, even though I don't know why she let Trish get to her. So favorites, Tasha, Sarah, LJ, and we'll see where it goes from there. What did you guys think? Good first episode? Do you think it bodes well for the new season? Who are your favorites? And let's get excited. Can't wait to hear your comments. Bye!